Hi, I'm Shelby Vassar. I go to William T. Dwyer High School and I'm from Jupiter, Florida. I took Holocaust last year, my junior year. I'm now a senior. And Holocaust really just taught me that there's still genocide going on today. It really teaches you a broad perspective of everything. This past year I went on the Holocaust trip to Washington, D.C., and it really was an impacting experience on my life. I don't think I'll ever forget about it. The inSIGHT trip was truly a blessing. It was really informative, insightful, and educational. A lot of people say this, but the shoe room really puts into perspective how many people went through the Holocaust. It's a massive room, it still smells like old shoes and everything, but it really puts in front of your eyes the perspective of how big the Holocaust really was. The shoes represent all the people that were in the Holocaust. There's millions of pairs all on the ground. That's not even all the shoes, I'm sure, of all the victims. And it really represents all the people that died.
My name is Julian Stark. I am 18 years old and I go to Boca Raton Community High School. I am currently enlisted in a Holocaust class for the year. And so much material has come out of the class that I didn't know previously. The thing we are learning recently has been about ZOBs and the Jewish resistance in ghettos, which has been very inspirational because they lived their life and they fought for what they believed in, even though they knew they could possibly die. And even though the leader did end up dying, it's completely inspirational to think that even with the knowledge of death near, he constantly fought for what he believed in. And I wouldn't have gotten into the trip I got into in Washington, D.C. if it wasn't for the class. That is how I found out about the project in the first place and inSIGHT and what it was doing. When you take the elevator up to start the museum, there's a picture as the elevator door opens of Jewish bodies on the floor just burned and smoldered, and you're almost looking at it as if you took the picture, as if you're that other half. And in a way it's kind of putting you into the days of the Holocaust. You are stepping into a portrait of the past, a portrait that we try to forget, we try to think didn't happen, but in the end it did happen, and we must always remember that. On top of that, the videos of just the bodies being carried and the heads banging on the floor as they're being dragged along by other Nazis will just always be a picture that I will see in my head of not only death but life itself and how fragile it really is. When I told my parents what I learned on the trip, they said, you know, I'm happy you had a good time, I'm happy you learned what you learned. And as I told them about it, you know, I realized that they were happy I got to experience what I experienced, but they will never understand what I saw from being there. You know, words cannot really describe what it's like to step into that museum and in a way step into part of the past and completely be swallowed by the darkest era of human history.
Hi, my name's Barry Miller. I go to Palm Beach Central High School. I'm 17 years old. I'm in 11th grade. I went on the Holocaust DC trip with a group of about 20 students, and it was honestly one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I met amazing people. We traveled there with a Holocaust survivor, Frida Jaffe. She was one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met, and I think we're planning a reunion soon, but I learned so much. We went to the Holocaust Museum every day that we were there. We stayed for 2 nights and 3 days, and we went through everything extensively. I saw it was deeply unsettling but very important, and it's taught me that I need to stand up to hatred and to make sure that no one will ever be stereotyped against. And I'm so lucky to have gotten that experience. Thanks to inSIGHT, they did it all. They paid for the whole trip, and it was amazing, so thank you. When I got home, I told my parents how I learned about the Nazis' rise to power and how many people were persecuted, not only Jewish people, but gypsies, homosexuals, Freemasons, and they were just, of course they were saddened that I had to learn that such horrible things can happen, but they were so glad that my generation of younger people can understand like genocides that can occur, such as the Holocaust, because once you understand, you can fully try to prevent something else from happening. The whole experience of going to Washington, D.C. and going to the Holocaust Memorial Museum has taught me over everything else to be an upstander and to never stand by and watch hatred happen, because one of the main things we learned at the museum was that it started with a prejudice. The Holocaust did. I mean, it started with Hitler thinking that Jewish people were just worth less, and it's wrong because everyone is equally valuable. And ever since we went, I've made sure that all my friends and everyone I see treats everyone equally. I don't stand for bullying or anything else that's awful and occurs in schools. I just try to be an upstander and never be a bystander.